Hey everyone, it's Joe Waxman, and I'm back with another video. Today, I want to talk about a topic which I'm risking getting a lot of hate for, and I probably will, at least some. And the theme of this talk is Scorpio, are Scorpio placements narcissistic? Is Scorpio a narcissist? Now that's a question because I don't want to make a blanket statement and say, yes, definitely it is, or it isn't, but let's look at it because this is something that I've noticed and I want to just point out and draw attention to. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll get right into it. All right. So here is a page on narcissistic personality disorder from Mayo Clinic. And first, I just want to give a general outline of what narcissism is, just so we have framework to go on. Then I'm going to look at a chart. All right, I'm going to read it. Narcissistic personality disorder, one of several types of personality disorders, is a mental condition in which people have an inflated sense of their own importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, troubled relationships, and a lack of empathy for others. But behind this mask of extreme confidence lies a fragile self-esteem that's vulnerable to the slightest criticism. A narcissistic personality disorder causes problems in many areas of life, such as relationships, work, school, and financial affairs. People with narcissistic personality disorder may be generally unhappy and disappointed when they're not given the special favors or admiration they believe they deserve. They may find their relationships unfulfilling, and others may not enjoy being around them. Okay, symptoms. An exaggerated sense of self-importance, a sense of entitlement, and require constant excessive admiration. Expect to be recognized as superior even without achievements that warrant it. Exaggerate achievements and talents. Preoccupied with fantasies about success, power, brilliance, beauty, or the perfect mate. Believe they are superior and can only associate with equally special people. Monopolize conversations and belittle or look down on people they perceive as inferior. Expect special favors and unquestioning compliance with their expectations. Take advantage of others to get what they want. Have an ability or unwillingness to recognize the needs and feelings of others. Be envious of others and believe others envy them. Behave in arrogant or haughty manner, coming across as conceited, boastful, and pretentious. Insist on having the best of everything, for instance, the best car or office. At the same time, people with narcissistic personality disorder have trouble handling anything they perceive as criticism, and they can become impatient or angry when they don't receive special treatment, have significant interpersonal problems and easily feel slighted, react with rage or contempt and try to belittle the other person to make themselves appear superior, have difficulty regulating emotions and behavior, experience major problems dealing with stress and adapting to change, feel depressed and moody because they fall short of perfection, have secret feelings of insecurity, shame, vulnerability, and humiliation. Okay, so I mean, that's just a rough outline of what a narcissist might be like, and it might be a combination of some of those things or all of those things. So anyway, I want to look at Scorpio in relation to that. And I'm using my own chart because I have a Scorpio rising. And this is not limited to Scorpio risings, although this will be most evident in Scorpio rising. But you would also see this tendency with Scorpio suns, Scorpio moons, or any Scorpio planets, really. And I'm posing this as a question again, because I don't want to outright condemn anyone. It's not to say that everyone with Scorpio ascendant or sun or moon or placements is going to necessarily be what we would call a narcissist. However, I do believe there is a connection, and I want to look at that. And I'm using my own chart because not only am I Scorpio rising, but also because I don't want it to appear like I'm attacking Scorpios while at the same time making myself appear superior. That would be a narcissistic activity. And self-awareness kind of mitigates that. The whole point of this is not to criticize anyone and not to make anyone feel bad about, potentially being, not being a narcissist or having necessarily, but having narcissistic qualities. I think it's all a potential for all of us to have narcissistic qualities potentially, right? And it's not limited to Scorpio. Any sign can have narcissistic qualities, right? But this is to draw attention to a trait that may be a part of Scorpio placements. May or may not be, but I think there definitely is that strong potential for that, and there are reasons why. So let's get into it. And remember, if you think I'm criticizing you, I'm criticizing myself even more, because this is my chart, and I'm calling myself out along with everyone else, potentially, not actually, potentially, right? All right, so Scorpio, essentially, when we're talking about Scorpio, if you want to sum it up in a sort of big picture sense or esoteric sense, Scorpio is about a battle within. It's a war, really. The Scorpio represents a war that we come to after the peaceful sign of Libra. Libra is sort of the calm before the storm, right? Everything is calm and peaceful and good. Libra represents the equality, the social skills and ease, the ability to navigate in the realm of partnerships and equality and justice and fairness and peace and balance, right? And then when we get to Scorpio, it's all gone to hell. Like all the peace, all the balance, all the social ease and graces, it's all gone to hell. We're at war in Scorpio. We have a battle, and the battle is with ourselves. It's not with others, but sometimes it can leak out into others. The battle of Scorpio is over the lower desires, the lower chakras, if you will. Scorpio is really that battle where the lower chakras initially in the immature stages, in the early stages, become very powerful, right? These are the sex, the survival, and the power over others, right? Survival being the lowest, sexuality being the second, and then the power, the physical power, material power, shared resources, the leadership that often comes with Scorpios. And by the way, I think I can't remember where I read this, but there are more Scorpios who are leaders of like corporations and government officials, like heads of state, things like that, in positions of power than any other sign, because that's what Scorpio really represents, is that power. So Scorpio is that battle to overcome the lower desires and to transcend and to transform, the Plutonic transformation and transmutation of the lower desires into higher energies. It's the raising of the Kundalini, if you will, and the evolution of the soul. It's about overcoming. It's about overcoming the lower desires. And it happens sometimes, Scorpios will, over time, many Scorpios will win that battle. They will live long enough and they will transcend their lower desires and become much more spiritually evolved. That's a transcended Scorpio. And they're going to be very wise. They're going to be very much more calm and peaceful. All that intensity, all that inner fighting is subdued. And essentially they've crossed over the Scorpio initiation, if you will, into Sagittarius, into wisdom, right? Because Sag is the wisdom, the God principle, the philosophy, the higher mind, right? So in a sense, in a very quite literal sense, Scorpio is an initiation into the higher realm. So if you have Scorpio placements, that's an initiation. It's a test. It's a battle to overcome the lower desires. But with the lower desires, with the shadow work, we're getting into, we have access to all the lower desires, because if we do not have the freedom to make the lower choice of sex and drugs and power and shared resources, control, domination, control of others. That's very strong in Scorpio. If we did not have that freedom, then it would not be a freedom. We would not be able to make the right choice either. If we can't make the wrong choice, we can't make the right choice. And that's putting it overly simplistic. I don't mean to moralize it. It's not really about right or wrong. It's just about experience and learning and growing and evolving and making the higher choice because that's the better choice. We learn through experience. But if we can't make those lower choices, which involves narcissism, which is the theme of this talk, if we can't become narcissistic, then we cannot overcome narcissism, right? And that is one of the lower chakras. That's in the power over others. When we exert that power over others, which Scorpio definitely has the ability to do energetically, psychologically, right? Because Scorpio is empowered to have that perception of mind that can understand others' psychology very well. And because we understand others' psychology, well, we can do it in two ways. Number one, we can have power over them. We can control them and manipulate them, or we could help them if we wanted to. If we wanted to rise, if we wanted to take the higher road, we could use our psychological understanding to help them understand themselves better and to elevate them. Or we can do the opposite and gain power over them, control them, keep them down while we, step on them and elevate ourselves. That's the lower path of Scorpio. And that is very much a narcissistic quality, right? So that pretty much is when we're talking about just the Scorpio element of it, that power, that control, that psychology, the sexuality and the all the lower chakras, using that to gain over others, using if somebody has the sexuality, like they're very attractive, whether it's a guy or a girl, they can use that. Or if they just have psychological control, they can use that. Or if they have like material control, or in the world, they can use that. And that's all elements of the narcissistic quality. The other factor in this is that Mars is ruling the first house and the sixth house. So naturally, fighting is always a part of Scorpio placements. And we're not just talking about Scorpio risings. Again, we're talking about Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon, Scorpio, Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, any planet, any placement, North Node, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, because we can always look at that planet make a planet chart for that planet, like a sun chart or a moon chart or a Mars chart or whatever, right? And you're always going to have Aries in the sixth house. So no matter what planet you have in Scorpio, you're going to have Aries sixth from that, and that's going to have an influence because Mars is ruling both these houses. So fighting is always going to be a part of Scorpio's nature. And naturally, the way Scorpio interacts with the world is through fighting. We're always bringing in our protective, nature and guarding it with that fighting Mars. Mars is always going to fight. Mars is our ascendant lord. And wherever it is in the chart, whatever sign it's in, it's going to have that fighting quality because it's ruling the first and the sixth house, right? So we're always bringing fighting into it. And that adds to the narcissistic ability because naturally, and I know this with my own experience, it's just too easy to fall into a fighting mentality. Whenever we're in an uncomfortable situation, we don't trust someone, we're not used to them, we don't know what their, MO is. We don't know if we can, if we can rely on them, if they're going to take advantage of us or not. So we just automatically bring in the fighting. It's very normal. It's very routine. We're always ready to fight. Fighting is just the natural go-to for Scorpio in any placement because Mars. And especially if Mars is in a powerful sign, like in a fire sign, like mine, if it's, conjunct or an aspect with another, particularly, any planet that's going to boost it, the North Node or Jupiter or Venus, the Sun. All these are going to empower Mars in different ways. Pluto, Moon, Saturn. Saturn's going to control Mars, but it depends. Saturn can also make Mars more violent. So it depends how it goes. Venus will make Mars more passionate. Sun and Mars are generally quite good together. Moon and Mars, not so much, but it's still going to make a person quite aggressive. Pluto, Mars, even more so. If Mars is in Pisces, that's going to be a much more gentle Mars, or in Libra, in the 12th. But anyway. So yeah, you'd want to look at the Mars. But and then the third thing is this Leo on the MC. Why? Well, because and you might say I can imagine some people saying, well, narcissism sounds more like a Leo quality, right? Yeah. Well, we have Leo in the 10th house. And why is that significant? Because the 10th house is an area where we have to constantly assert that nature out into the world. The first house does not have the same quality. The first house is just all about, we have this presence that is just innate within us. But in the 10th house, when we're dealing with worldly affairs, we're constantly asserting this 10th house into the world. So Scorpios are constantly pushing out this Leo into the world. And Leo is all about, the ego, the pride, the conceit, the arrogance, the boastfulness, the need to take up, the limelight. And if you notice that, if you've been in astrological circles long enough, you'll know that actually Scorpios get the most attention out of any sign, more than Leos, more than anyone else. Scorpios get the most attention out of any sign. And that's because of this Leo conjunct the MC. Scorpios naturally get the limelight because of this, more than Leos. They do. Even in my own videos, my Scorpio video got more than anything. So it's naturally that it's just this gravitational thing where because Leo's on the MC, Scorpios are constantly putting themselves out into the world, like in this boastful Leo kind of way. Like if you go to any of the Leo groups, Scorpio groups on social media, you're going to see a lot of this, a lot of selfies, a lot of narcissism, a lot of boastful, people boasting about Scorpio this, Scorpio that, how we're reflecting other people's signs. And there's not a lot of self-awareness. It's not really all about like, shadow work or really looking into the darker aspects of, Scorpio or, and if you tell somebody that they're narcissistic, you get a typical response, which is attack, denial, attack. But that's not really self-awareness. That's not really doing the work that we need to become more evolved, more, better with our Scorpio placements, which is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to become aware of this and transcend it. It's not a fixed state. If you can understand where your weaknesses are, that's how you can evolve beyond them. And so the whole purpose of this is to bring awareness to this quality, because I'm talking about myself here. This is my chart. So if anyone, I'm criticizing myself again. So if you want to come at me with some hate and be like, oh, Scorpios are not narcissistic and you're a jerk and whatever, take a better look at yourself, do the work, do some shadow work, look at your own qualities, because I know I can recognize my own, Mars conjunct the MC, when my pride gets the best of me and I just, and I can recognize that, like it's that Leo in the 10th house with the Mars there. I just feel like I'm, better than everyone. But at least I'm observing it and I'm watching myself and rationalizing, and I'm like, what's going on here? Where's this come from? And that's probably because of my Virgo moon and my 8th house sun. I'm like thinking about it. I'm trying to understand it better. and Uranus conjunct the ascendant as well. But anyway, I mean, just because you're aware of it doesn't necessarily make it go away right away, but that is the key essentially for much deeper understanding, the awareness. That's the very first step. And probably, the third thing is probably Sagittarius in the second house, although this is a more minor one. Sagittarius is more evolved, more higher minded, but second house still is an area that it's the knowledge and it's the values, and Sagittarius is still fire. So there's still like a haughtiness, a high, an arrogance, a certain, but again, Sagittarius is post Scorpio, right? It's the sign after Scorpio. So I would say this is much less of a thing. We get into a similar thing with Pisces, because they have Aries in the second house. So they can be quite arrogant. I wouldn't call it narcissism, but it's a certain quality that Pisces can get into that kind of is I don't know, arrogant. You could just say like Pisces often think they're more spiritually evolved than everyone else. I've seen it so many times. It's pretty annoying. Not always. Sometimes you get Pisces who completely deny spirituality altogether. So and of course, not all Scorpios are succumb to the narcissism. But again, I think this is a quality that can easily be found in Scorpio placements, because there's so much power in Scorpio. So much power in Scorpio. Like Scorpio is literally the sign of power. If you want to say like what sign is the sign of power in the zodiac, it's Scorpio, right? So we have so much power. Of course, on the lower end, it's going to take advantage of that power. And if you don't think so, well, just take a better look. I mean, Scorpios are notoriously, it's like like even on YouTube, you get like people making videos about how the competition within Scorpio, which doesn't even exist in any other signs. There are no other signs being like making entire videos being like, Scorpio suns are the real Scorpios and all the other Scorpios are fake Scorpios. Okay. Scorpio risings are not real Scorpios. Only Scorpio suns are real Scorpios. Stuff like that. I'm trying to mimic somebody. I'm just making up. I have no idea. I haven't even seen the video, but I know that they exist out there. Or like, the competitions I've seen on probably a lot, if you've been around, who's the most scorpionic, and like, let's take a test and add up our Scorpio placements and see who's the one. You don't do that with any other sign. It's only with Scorpio. Is that not narcissistic? I think that's narcissistic. Okay. I think it's pretty damn narcissistic. So yeah, the most powerful sign, Scorpio. The sign that gets the most attention, Scorpio. The sign that has the most narcissism in it, Scorpio. Change my mind. What can I say? I mean, I've noticed this firsthand. I'm not attacking Scorpio because I obviously am, Scorpionic enough. Scorpio ascendant, 8th house sun and Venus, trine Pluto. I mean, I'm just, astrology is more important than protecting my ego. So I think this deserves attention and recognition. I believe Scorpio placements are the most narcissistic. Potentially the most narcissistic, and actually the most narcissistic. So, write your comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you think I'm wrong, just try and be nice. I know Scorpios have a hard time being nice. I have a hard time being nice, but I try. I make an effort, and so I'm asking you to make an effort. I'm not attacking anyone personally. I'm not calling out any names. I'm just saying in general, I believe Scorpio tends to be more narcissistic than any other sign. So that's what I wanted to say. Make an intelligent argument against it if you can or want to. Or if you agree, let me know. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. If you enjoy this content, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. I could use it, definitely. I'm trying to gain more subscribers, more likes and all that, more views, the whole shebang. And I also need more readings. So if you want to get a reading, hit me up. Go to my website, macroastrology.com. If you need a discount, like if you can't afford it, let me know. I'm happy to accommodate anyone who genuinely wants a reading. So don't be shy. Let me know. And that's pretty much it. I will see you guys soon. All right. Thanks. Bye.